Hello. Can anyone hear me? Text in the chat if you can hear me. I can hear myself. Ah, all right. Okay, good. I'm not really gonna go over in depth everything that you can do, in all of these different languages. I'm only gonna do what I think is most important, and whatever questions you guys have, you could ask me, and I'll go through it. Hold on. Can anyone see the chat if I text something? So let me see. Here. Let me know if you can see that. Actually, I should probably be able to see it here. Hold on. Okay. Um. So screen recording. You're gonna see it's gonna save to my YouTube, so you're probably all gonna be able to see that. If you guys can hear me though, can you just text that in the chat? See if you can hear me. Because someone said they can't hear me. Won't get sound if fine. Actually no, they can hear me. Okay. So okay. So let me get to that tab. Okay. Well, let me just rearrange things a second. Okay. So wasn't really set up here, but what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try to go through um everything that you probably need to know for tomorrow. Once again, you're probably not going to need to know all of the code in general, so I'm not going to go through that. I'm only going to go through let's see. I'm going to go through a little bit of CSS, some of the HTML things that you probably need to know, and the what's it called? And Turtle. I taught that in another thing. And yeah, so it should be a very simple, quick thing. Hopefully, it's not so long. But yeah. Okay, so let me just get everything set up here. This is the wrong account. Okay. All of the words and the what do you call it? All the words and all of the notes that I'll be taking out will be on my website, and I'll send that in the chat probably so you can see that. And that's something that you guys should definitely look at to get a little bit of a what do you call it? To get a sense of what everything means. Yeah. So let's just open these three. Okay. So okay. So let's start with some basic HTML tools that you're probably going to need to know. I looked at the old final. It's not the same, but um, one thing that you're probably gonna have to know, like it seems like it's important, is link rel style sheet, like all that. Okay. Um, so I'll give a brief explanation what that means. Um, so when you do link, um, so what link does is link, it links a file or something. It links like some whatever. It links something to the HTML page that you're currently working on. So if I link rel, if I change style sheet to, let's see what I find. Works. Yeah, here. So if I link rel, a license, or all of these stuff, it would link it to this page. So anything that I write in that would show on this page. So here, if I go to style sheet, which is the one thing we learned, href style.css. If you look to the side here, you'll see that there's a CSS page called style.css. Style.css. If I change this, what do you call it? If I change this title in any way, and let's say I'll change the background color to blue. If I do anything to the code, it will not affect the actual HTML itself. Like you have to have the exact name. Like, yeah, you have to have the exact name for every href. This also applies to if you're doing a href. Let's do add an HTML. This also applies when you're linking pages. So here, I just added new one.html. Otherwise, let's see. So, anytime you have href or you have, let's see, also src, which is source. So if you want to use an image tag, img src. So, I don't have an image here, but let's say I called it lion.jpg. If lion is written with a capital L, and I write it with a lowercase l, nothing will show up. It has to be the exact name with the exact capitalization and all of that. All right. So, all right. So that's the three things that you have, like hrefs or sources, which you have to write something exact. Um, so HTML is pretty. Actually, I wrote this in the wrong spot. So most of your code you're gonna want in the body section of your code. So, because it like it tells you, like it makes it more noticeable. Like, body, like it's in the middle. It's in the actual website itself. So these you would keep here, but anything that you don't really see, or like it's code, like it's code. It's like something you don't want viewers to see. You would normally keep it up here. Otherwise, body is where you would put like your H1s and all your headings and paragraphs and all that. So let's see. So header tags, all of these tags here are, that was a mistake. They're pretty simple and they all follow like a simple like rule. Like if I show you here any of these, let's say H1, all this stuff. So they all follow a simple rule, which means they have like, what I mean by that is that they all follow, like, saying like a lot, but they all follow this one rule, which is they have to be enclosed in these two tags. What these are called, I have no clue, but Robertson calls them carrots, I think, or something stupid like that. So that's a good thing to know. Whenever you write anything, any like code for this stuff, for HTML and CSS and all that, most of the time it's pretty simple. Like, let's take unordered list. Um, Unordered list, the first letter of each word is U and L, so it makes sense that U and L means unordered list. Ordered list means the same thing. List item goes by the same rule where L and I are the first two letters. Image tags, it takes IMG instead of IMAGE, which is fine. Ahref tags, which link something, or yeah, basically what they're called. Comment tags, you're probably not going to have to know this, but simply it's just something that you enclose in that you put in your code to enclose a comment that you wouldn't want, that you don't want anyone to see, but it defines the code. It makes it easier for other people to look at your code and understand what there is. Okay. Can't hear you. We hear you. Can you go over all the vocabulary and what they mean? Sure. What is href? What's li? Li is okay. So let me show it here. So what an href is, it's referencing something. Let's start with href because I already have it. So what href is you're referencing a different somewhere out of this entire page. So in this case, I'm referencing another page of the website, which I'll name, and let me just change this back to white. All right. So now, what this does is it looks at this. It says, okay, so you're making a hyperlink. So what hyperlinks are is if you ever see like in any emails, you'll see basically this actually, and you'll see yeah, you'll see that, or you'll see an actual link itself. So you would click on that and you'd go to a link. So basically, this is the same thing. So A is telling the computer that you're making a hyperlink, and href tells the computer what you're referencing. So what you're gonna want the computer to change to when you go to name. So in this case, when I click name, it'll go to this new one.html. It'll go to this new page here. Yeah. So as you see, it moved to name. All right. Isn't what's li bullet point? Okay. So what li is? It's a list item. You could leave it on its own and have it be a bullet point, but here. So if I write this, let's write name. So if I okay. So what a list item is? It creates here. If I write my name here, it creates a bullet point or an item in a list. That's literally what it says. What it means. So if I write OL, which is an ordered list, and I have this, you don't have to tab it, but it looks nicer. And then I do OL, and then I just slash in the beginning. And now you'll see that instead of it becoming a bullet point, which it originally was, here, if I do this, yeah, and that. So now you'll see that it's gonna go back to it when I delete this. Okay, so now you'll see it'll go back to a bullet point. That's not good. So I'm gonna replace this obviously just because I don't want to have any comments here. I want all the code to run smoothly. So OL changes li to an ordered list, which means that it's going to show numbers instead of bullet points. But you could easily change that by switching it to UL. It's more formatted, like it's more formal to do UL. It's recommended to do UL because it describes it. Once again, you're trying to describe it. Let's say you're trying to describe all this code to another developer that's working on your code with you. So if you don't write unordered list and you just write li, he's gonna know what it is, but he's not gonna know what you're trying to do. He's not gonna know what you're going for. All right. So now we got those few questions. Let's move on to some other stuff. There is I have to find vocabulary because I didn't put it here, but I'll do that now. Hold on. Let's go and like we'll start from the beginning and everything of the WebGaz. Okay, let's go there. All right. This ever loads. Coding 1TB, and I'll scroll all the way down and go to. Let's do not functional parameters. Let's start IMG tag. So now I want to go through the vocabulary here and what they mean. Most of the time, I'll give you a thorough explanation of what they mean, but if you need a like a mind refresher, if you want to refresh your mind about what everything is, here, let's go to lesson overview here. Okay. So HTML, hypertext markup language, it's a language used to create web pages. Very simple. It's really like I'm not even. You're probably gonna have to know this for a multiple choice question, but not a long, short answer question. An HTML element is a piece of a website marked by a start tag and often closed with an end tag. I showed that with the two, whatever he calls them, carets, I think. An HTML tag is a special set of characters that indicates the start and end of an HTML. Oh, fuck. So the carets are actually called HTML tags. So that makes a little more sense. Website content is the raw text, which means the raw code or the like paragraphs and everything right in them, images and other elements, which is the code itself. So that's what web content is. Website structure is the purpose of different pieces of content on a web page. So it's basically saying that it's the purpose of it's the purpose of different things. Does it probably only have to do with vocab? No. I'm pretty sure there are a few short answer questions on like not on vocabulary, but a lot of it will be vocabulary because there are let's see how to phrase this. So a lot of it will be vocabulary because you're because we already did the in class whatever, and that was really all the coding to see if you understood what you learned. All right. Otherwise, you are going to need to know some basic knowledge of coding, just so that you can just so that you could answer the questions properly. I'm not even sure if he's going to have a lot of this, but it's always worth to have this extra knowledge. Digital footprint is the collected information about an individual across multiple websites on the internet. So basically, what it is, digital footprint is basically like it's basically like when you go on a website, the website like knows the website knows like where you are in it, like if you're on page 2 or page 6, and it tracks your like not every move, but it tracks what you're doing. So yeah, pretty simple. So multiple choice would mostly be vocab. No, he's probably gonna include vocab into the questions, but probably he's gonna ask you what are the names of CSS and what are the meanings of the acronyms for CSS and HTML. It's pretty simple. Like I said, hypertext markup language for HTML and cascading style sheets for CSS. I'll go through what cascading style sheets means in like a second, but I want to get through all of the vocabulary that they have here. See if they have anything here. It's a little annoying that I have to do this, but I was an idiot when I made the document itself, so yeah, whatever. I'm pretty sure the next few have their own like vocabulary section anyway. So citation is a quote, like when you cite something, when you did work cited for room for debate, you had to show where you found your work. So it's a quotation. And citing, when you cite work, when you cite like what in room for debate, let's say, when we cited work, when we cited the quotes from these three different people, you had to give like a you had to give like you had to make sure that you wrote them down in the article. You had to make sure that um their how do you say it? Their content was always like the user that looks at your website or whatever, they have to know that that image or that whatever video or anything that's on your website came from this certain person. So now this is what copyright is. So it's the exclusive legal right to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or music material, and to authorize others to do the same. So that's what copyright is. It's basically to let people. What's your question? What do you think we should study after you live vid? You should probably look at the website, and I think someone sent that in the Freshies chat, or maybe. Yeah, let me get that, and I'll send it in the chat. But that's a good way to study because you have not particularly HTML, but you have all of the what do you call it? You have all of the So you have all of the what do you call it? You have all the like things that you would need to study from. So here, if I send that in the chat, wherever that is, here. No, it's my website. Here, I said just send it in the chat. So yeah, that's it. I would suggest looking at that like whenever for whatever you need. Href, I did that. Okay, so no one has. Do we need to know iteration? So when you iterate something, you're basically writing it down. It's pretty simple, if I'm not wrong. But let's check. Iteration, definition. Okay. Actually, computer science. Entrepreneur process setting first and repeat it. Okay, so it's basically a for loop. I was wrong. It's not basically writing code. It's a for loop in which everything is constantly repeated. Okay. That's you, Mars. You probably do need to know it honestly, because it is a part of Turtle. All right. Let's see who else. No other questions. Let's move on to CSS. I think is next. Or did we not finish? Yeah, we finished. I'm not doing these two. It's fine. Actually, clean code and debugging, I think, has a few. Debugging, what that means is that you're going through your code to make sure that there's not something that doesn't work correctly. So here, bug is a part of the program that does not work correctly. A comment is a note. I already did that. It's a note to the computer program to help explain the code to people who read it. Like I said, if you're working with someone, you want them to know what you're doing. And then debugging, I said finding and fixing problems. Indentation is the placement of text further away. So that's, let's say if I go back to this document here and I scroll up. Okay. So what indentation is, it's literally very simple. If you click tab, if you click tab here, let's say you see how it makes that bigger space, that's called indentation. White space is any character that shows up as a blank space as on the screen, such as a space, a tab, or a new line. So, let's see. So if you were making like anything in paragraph or doing anything, if you like add a space or if you skip a line, that's called white space. Anything that's basically white space on your screen on your website, right? Let's go to CSS. CSS should be fairly simple because I have most of my things. Now let's see. Um, yeah. All right. So how does this? What? Oh, here it is. No, where'd it go? Okay, fine. I'll just do a simple web lab here again. Oh, I don't want to do that, but that's okay. So CSS cascading style sheets. It helps you customize your website basically. Um, it's cascading because hold on, I gotta look this up. I'm sorry. Here. So once again, I'm taking everything off my website. So what you'll see here is what you'll see on the website. CSS is cascading style sheets. It's a language used to describe how HTML elements should be styled. So it's basically, let's say you're at like some hair dude guy or whatever. Let's write a simple H1, and you want to get your hair dyed like yellow. I don't know, you're a weirdo or something. So let's say you want to get your hair dyed yellow. Um, what you would do is you would go over to this barber and you'd ask him to change your color to yellow. So now I'm going into the code. I know this is a weird example, but now I want to change the color to bold. So what I would do is I would write color. Let's say not bold, to yellow. I mean, so here. So now the color is yellow. That's really annoying. So now it's easier to see. So now I want my color to my hair. I want that hair to be equal to yellow. Okay. So another thing you could do is make a class, and to make a class, I'm pretty sure some people didn't get it, but to make a class, you have to do write class equals. You have to put quotes, and then you have to write what the name of the class is. So in my case, I'm writing yellow actually. And then I'll go to my style sheet, and let's say I want, instead of, so my H1 here, every time I write H1, it'll always be yellow. So here, if I do another H1 on top, um, it'll always be yellow. Every time I write something, it'll be yellow. What if I want something to be changed? So let's say I'll want this color to be red. So now I'll change the class to red, and now I'll go into my style sheet and I'll write dot red because that's the name of the class, right? Dot tells it that you're naming a class, and red says the name of the class. So here, let's do this. Now I want the color, not that, but color, I want it to be red, and then that. So now if you see, if I change this, if I change this whole thing back and I don't want it to be red, let's say, um, if you could see, the whole, like, not this doesn't matter. So now it changes back to yellow because all of the H1 tags, everything that says H1, everything that has H1 here, it always follows this, unless told otherwise, like in this case, when I wrote the class of red. So now, if I change this back, and I change this back, why not work? Whatever, if it ever works. The color red again. So now it'll change it to color red. So this automatically overrides this entire system. All right. Okay, thanks. Wait, can you explain iteration again? Is there equivalent of list of vocab words you need to know? I'll explain iteration, but Daniel, I'm not sure. You could look it up, but I didn't make equivalent. all the things are on my website. Like I have all the docs there, but I don't have time to make a Quizlet. How would you link something to your page? Are you Mars? Are you talking about an actual page or um an actual page or like an image or something like that? Or he's probably talking about page. Okay, so let's say I want to link something to my page. So let's say I want to link another page to this home page. I would add HTML and then um so I would add HTML and I'll rename it to blue. I don't know. I spelled blue wrong because I'm smart. So now what I would do is I'd write A, and this says that you're hyperlinking something, href, and you're referencing a different file from outside of this page, and you close that, and then you do this. You do /A, and then in between these two, this little space here, whatever you write in here is gonna link this page to this page. So if I write blue, if I click this, now will bring me to that thingy, whatever. It brings it to that page. Yeah, I could also style these to be a different color. Like they don't have to be a color. So here, if I do that, now I change the color to green. Change that to color, that color. I could change it to green and it'll still have the same function. All right. Saadia, it's a written. What? Okay. Is the test written? Oh, it's written. Yes. It's not really written. There's multiple choice and there's some written questions, but otherwise, it's mostly multiple choice, I would say, but I'm not sure. Isn't that the same thing? It is actually. I don't understand. I still don't understand class. Okay. So what a class is, you want to change something instead of having it be the same way. Hold on. So what do we? Okay. So instead of having anything in this code be the same as somebody else, you don't want it to be the same. Like instead of okay. Let's go back a few steps. Let's say I have 60 million of these H1 codes, and I want them all to be the. That's not good either. All right, and you want them all to be the same, like color, the same width, whatever. So let's say I have all of these, and I want them all to be the same color. But one of them I want to change to, instead of yellow, I want to change it to red. So here, if I do, so now I'm going to do class, and I'm going to do red, okay? So what this does is it takes this code, and instead of it having to go, so when you write something, this file, because it's linked here, this file, what it'll look every time you write another piece of code, it'll look into this style sheet and it'll see, did you write H1? Because if it's H1, it'll change the color to yellow. All right. Or did you make it a class? Did you make class red? And so it'll override this and it'll change the color to red. All right. Oh yeah. Sorry, Eli. Iteration is when you repeat something. So if I constantly repeat, I have to go into another thing that's annoying. Let's do this. That didn't work at all. All right. So, if I go, please work. No. Okay, fine. So if I go into App Lab, and I create a for loop. You know what a for loop is, right? Yes, I should be right. Or come here, know what it is. You could write red. There's three ways to write it. You could either write. Oh, stupidity. Here, so let's change this to red, and I'll make a. That was I made an oopsie in the CSS. Hold on. Let's write this red, and now I'll change the color to red. I gotta do this. There's three ways to write it. You could write it red. You could write. Actually, no, I don't have to do that. Okay. You could write red like this. You could write RGB. That was not right. 25500, something like that. Or I think I'm not sure actually. Maybe let's just do FFFFF because I think yeah. So FFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFF sure of the hex color for red, but I know white, so that's okay. So if I change this to black, I could also do, I think, 000 or sorry, RGB 000 to do black. Or you could write it, or you could do FFFFF. All right. Actually, in this case, it would be, if you wanted to do that, I'm pretty sure it's 0000. Yeah. All right. So what a hex color is it goes from 0. It goes from 0 to F, and F being 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So F being 15 and 0 obviously being 0. It's basically like RGB because the first two digits are R, the second pair of digits are G, and the last two digits are B. So that's why when I write 0000, it's black, because if I write RGB 000, it also goes to black. All right, make sense? Do you have to put in RGB or the computer know what it is? I already did that. You put in RGB, yes. How does it know just by writing with red that it changed? That what changed? How the text changed? It knows that. What do you mean? I don't get that question. Okay. Go back to iteration. I'm sorry, Eli. I have to go step by step. But here, I'll give you a brief explanation of what iteration is. So okay. So let's say I want to move forward 1,000 times. Actually, no. Why am I putting a function? Let's say I wanted to move forward 25, 100 times. This is not right either. I can't get anything right. Okay. Not while before var. Okay. So now I want to move forward 600 times. I changed that number 6 times, right? But I don't care. So instead of writing move forward, hit like this the whole time, which still isn't right actually. Like that, and then going and doing everything over and over again. You're going to want to just have one simple code that could do it for you. Okay. So now, iteration is basically when I do this number, it repeats. It literally doesn't make a difference. Sorry. It literally doesn't do anything. The word iteration means that you're repeating something. In this case, I'm iterating move forward 25 600 times. All right. So it basically means I'm iterating something 100 times. 600 times. Okay. That's all it is. You're repeating something 600 times. Where can I find all the words? On either on some of my documents, or Ada found like a thingy. He found like some Quizlet, so you could probably look at that. Otherwise, that's pretty much all you need to know from HTML and CSS. Let's go through the words for CSS, because you're probably gonna want to know that. Actually, okay. So I'm just gonna teach you what I think is most important here. Yeah, no, everything's simple. I don't know. This might not all be important at all. Okay. Like I said, there's 3 ways to write color: RGB, using a hex code, or I forgot the real name for it, but here we'll find it somewhere. All right. So here, let's CSS selector. this part of a CSS rule set that defines which I cannot say words today. Okay. So CSS selector is the part of the CSS rule which defines the elements that it should be applied to. What that means is basically here. If I go back here, CSS selector is this: the P, the H1, and the body. Right? Make sense? Okay. Very simple. I don't care what your opinions are. Do you have to that doc that you're on? Yes, you do. I do it again. Here. No, I'll send it like 80 times just because. You know what, Eli? You know what I'm doing now? I'm iterating this site like 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm iterating this site 4 times because I'm repeating the action of texting, chatting this website link 6 times. Make sense? Eli, I don't care. So your opinion doesn't matter. If you don't understand, then too bad. Just text in the chat when you're upset. Sorry. So hold on. Where did I go? So iteration is just repetition. Yes. Yes. Link to the doc is not working. Why? Okay, I'll try to fix that later on. But we gotta get through. We gotta get through right now. So let's go through the words. I did CSS selector. Algorithm. This is a very important word. Algorithm is a precise sequence of instructions for processes that can be executed by a computer. So what this means is basically the code you write is an algorithm, and it's a specific set of code that the computer will understand. Okay, so it's a specific set of code that the computer understands to add on to your HTML. All right. Relevant. Link to the doc is not working. Okay, I'll fix it. Relevant is obviously connected or appropriate. We know that also from bias today. Search engine. Okay. Everyone uses a search engine. Do you guys know what Google is? That's called a search engine. Not sure if you knew that. So it's a program that searches for and identifies items in a database that correspond to keywords or characters specified by the user. So here, let me demonstrate what a search engine is for you. If I type W and I want to Spotify. Here, so now if I type W and I enter, what Google's doing is it's looking through a whole bunch of it's looking through the entire internet, through all the things that have a W in them, and that's why there's there's 24 billion results. Yes, that's what a search engine is. Okay, makes sense. I don't care. You have to know binary. Okay. I'm not sure, but it was on the last year's test, but so I'll teach it. Binary calculate. Oh, I can't do that, but it's okay. We'll just keep it here. All right. So binary calculator. Okay. So here, actually, if I go here, it probably makes more sense because that doesn't work. Okay. Oh, it's stupid. It doesn't work. Hold on. Let's do not binary addition. I'm gonna go to here. You know what? I'll go into CSS. So right down here, let's say, wow, our beautiful elementary school. Oh, beautiful. No, I'm gonna want to go. Oh, okay. So now, if I put in this thing, no, I don't want to select that. If I put in a table now, and let's say I'll just do 3. Is that simple? Okay. So binary is only 0 and 1. 0 and 1 are the only characters in binary. All right. So that means how are we gonna add numbers? What we're gonna do is we're gonna have different numbers that represent different things. So if I take 10011, this tells me that here. If I look at my calculator here, each number jumps by doubles every time it goes back. So I'm going this way. So each time it doubles. So now here it's 1. It's going to be 2 in here. 4, 8, not 9, and 16. So if I write 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. What this tells me is that 16. So what it's going to do is it's going to put 16 here. Let's make our math, whatever, equation. 16 plus no 8, so 0, 8. So let's do 8 times 0, and that means times. Let's just keep it at 0. So 0 plus, there's no 4, so we're adding another 0 for 4. There's 1, 2, so we add 2, and there's 1, 1, so we add 1. Okay. So now we get 18, 19. We get 19 from this, right? That makes sense, or Lamb's class didn't learn. Do we have to know binary? I don't know what Lamb's class didn't learn, but yeah. Yeah, it's very simple. Binary is very, very simple. All right. Questions? Okay, moving on. I don't care. Actually, let me make sure that this is running smoothly. Wow, audio is really bad on this. That sucks. I guess AirPods just suck at taking in microphone thingies. I didn't understand that. Okay. Let's go through binary again. So what it is I'm trying to explain a little deeper, like a little simpler, but there's really no way to explain it simpler. Let's see. Okay, so there's 0 and 1, and these correspond to how many sets of each number you're taking and adding in an equation. So that's why 11010011 works, because 1 represents there's one set of 16. So what the computer does is it takes that and it adds 16. Then it sees let's go from 1 actually. So it looks at 1. It looks at the first digit in the entire equation here. 10011. Okay? So it looks at the first digit, in this case it's 1, and it calculates that there's 1 there because the first number in every binary digit is always equal to 1. Like, what I mean by that is in every set of numbers, if I write 0, 0, 0, 0, if I write 0 in all of these, it'll equal to 0, but every number and its place corresponds to each of these. I have no clue how to explain that. The decimal system is times 10. Every number in binary is times 2. Yeah, that makes more sense actually. Yeah, okay. So every number in binary is times 2. Like each top set, this is defining the bottom. So here. So each top set is times 2. So it doubles as it goes. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, etc. Whatever. So what that means is that now that we know what sets are there, and this goes on forever, you could have a huge change of zeros and ones. Right? So once you have this basic set down, now you know that what it is if I have a 1 here, and let's change that to a 1, and then not have a 1 anywhere. What that means that it's going to tell the computer that because there's a 0 in the 1 spot, that means here, let's write this out here. 1, 1, 0, 0. So because there's a 0 in the 1 spot, it's not going to put any number because there's no sets of 1. So it won't add 1. And then it looks at the 2 spot. If there's no, because there's no set of 2 on the 2 spot, it won't add 2. Then it looks at the 4 spot and it sees there's 1 set of 4. So it adds 1 set of 4. It adds 4. Then it sees that there's 0 sets of 8. And then it looks at 16 and it sees that there's 1 set of 16. So it adds 16. All right? And this is equal to 20 in this case. Doesn't matter where the 1 is and the 0. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to, what do you call it? 4 plus 16 is 20. Let's see. If you wanted to have 6 plus 8, so that's 14. So if you wanted to have 14, instead of adding 1, 16, you would do 0. Then you would do 1, 1, 0, 0. You have to have zeros there. Zeros are placeholders. Otherwise, unless they're zeros are placeholders unless there's a 1 there. So if you don't want a 1 or you don't want a 2 and you just want a 4 and an 8, then you just have to write 1 in each of those areas. Each of those places corresponds. Like, can I put the 1 and 0 anywhere? No. It depends on what you want. If you want just 1, 2, 4, you have to put a 1 in these 3 areas. If you don't want a 1, 2, and 4, you want a 4 and an 8, you have to put a 1 in these areas. If you don't want any of them, you have to put a 0 in all of the areas. All right? I'm going to leave it at that, and then I'll move on to let's move on to turtle, right? That's good. How long has this been going on? I can't even tell. Yeah. We've almost been on this for an hour. Okay. Okay, got it. Perfect. Let's go to App Lab. Now we're gonna learn a little bit of turtle. So there's not much to turtle. There's not much you need to know from turtle because everything is new information. So all of this new information you should probably know. Move forward, moves forward. Move backwards, move backwards. It's literally the simplest way to code because everything is defined as their own name. All right. So, what you're probably gonna want to know is, okay. So, this is important right here. For this creates the for loop var I. This tells the computer that you're writing a variable. I is equal to 0. This is the timer. I'm not even sure. Yeah. Okay. So I is equal to 0. All right. So that creates the timer. That tells the computer you're creating a timer of how much time to run a certain code. I is less than 4. This tells the computer that you want to run the code 4 times. You could always change this to 9 trillion or whatever you want it to be, and that'll be, yeah, all right? You could change the number to whatever you want, and it'll run the code that much time. So we'll keep it at 4. I++, I'm actually not sure what this does, but yeah, I just know that you don't need to know it. Let's keep it at that because I'm not sure what I++ does. Otherwise, here. Otherwise, if I write something in it, move forward 800, then it'll move forward 800 4 times. Ugh. All right. Turtle is very simple. That's the basic of it. Random number, very also a little simple. If you need help with any of these, I would suggest coming onto App Lab and looking for them, and if you hover over them, it'll actually give you a description of what this is. Like turn right is rotates the turtle by a specified angle. All right. Okay. So a loop and a for loop, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. Yeah, no, we don't even have a loop. It's always for loop. We never did a regular loop. We're probably not going to until later on. Yeah, no, actually, no, there is no other loop. It's just for loop. We'll keep it at for loop. Just stay there. Don't that go like off track. There's no other loop. It's just called a for loop. We call it a loop, but it's this. It's always going to be a for loop. That's basically turtle. Okay. So a lot of people are having trouble with arc right. So what arc right, like an arc left do? They take an angle. Here, let's write 360. So that's easy to look at, like and understand, and I'll write 50. Okay. So what this number will do is this will say 360 corresponds to the angle. To angle. And what this means is that when it arcs right, when it makes that turn right, it's going to make a circle. So in this case, it's probably going to make a circle about that big, but I don't know. Yeah. So if you see here, the turtle went 360 degrees around, and it stopped in the same place where it started. Right. And then what 50 means is 50 is the radius. Radius is we found last time from the center of the circle to the outside. All right. So if I wanted to arc right 360, let's do 100. Yeah, let's keep it at 100. It would make a bigger circle with a radius of 100. So that means 100 pixels this way and 100 pixels that way. So all in all, it's 200 pixels up, down, all the way around. So the diameter is 200 pixels. All right. If you have trouble with arc right, just let me know and I'll go back to it. Functions, very simple. Saying everything's simple, but it's really not. Functions, what they do is they basically create your own code. DIY code. That's what a function is. You know what? I'll name that the name of DIY. Okay. So here, let's move forward. That 25, and then turn right 25. Right. So now, yeah, you have to add semicolons because that's the thing. Sorry. What did I not do here? Oh yeah, because I didn't call it. Whenever you define a function, you always have to call it. Like you don't have to, but you'll get this thing, and it's upsetting when you see that thing. All right. So here. So now DIY will run this code. All right. It's literally DIY code. Now, if I wanted to run that code in a for loop like 6 times, I would write for var. I should probably not be doing this. Like, I should drag it in. Var I is equal to 0. No, that's not what I want to do. Then I do I is less than, let's do 80. All right. And then what we're going to want to do is I++ at the end. And now we're going to open the curly thingies, and it'll close it automatically. And then let's write DIY that, and we'll end it with semicolon. And now, wait, does that actually make a circle? Did I literally just make a circle out of? Okay, I'm not complaining. So I guess I made a circle out of that, which okay, I was not expecting that. The name of the function for a reason. They name it a function for a reason. What do you mean? They name it my function for a reason. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's why, because it's DIY. DIY function. Sorry, it's DIY code. So yeah, I made a circle. Still don't know how I did that, but I did. Yeah. Okay. That's turtle. Let's go to, I have also vocabulary words on turtle. You know what? Let me open this and I'll edit it right in front of your face so that you can all see that I'm actually making sure that the thingies work, that the documents work here. Actually, let me change this. Make sure that you're allowed to view it. Okay. So you have to be on your Flappuccino, by the way. Just pointing that out. All right. So even actually, you could find this in, yeah, but whatever here. Just in case this doesn't work. You know what? I'm just gonna make this here. You must log log into your Flatbush email to view each doc. All right. Yeah. So if that was the problem, then that's the problem. All right. Um. Otherwise, yeah. Okay. So now let's go to, what is it? Let's go to turtle. Um. You'll find all the code here, all the things that you probably had trouble with, you'll find here. Do I only have, okay, I knew I didn't have one page. This is probably where I spend the most time putting in vocabulary words because there are actually a lot of them. Yeah, here, the whole thing. Okay. For loop and loop. They have no reason to be here, honestly. They mean nothing. Sorry, they mean basically the same thing. Alright, that one. Yeah, alright, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. So loop means the action of doing something over and over again. It's simple. Loops that have a predetermined beginning and an increment step in interval. So you know what? I actually understand this now. Okay. Let's go back to that code where I did the for loop, and now I'll explain to you exactly what all of this means. So for whatever, it doesn't make a difference. So this makes the timer, right? So now the timer starts at 0, right? The timer always starts at 0. So now you're gonna do I is less than 600. So it's gonna add. So it's gonna see this and it's gonna know to run 600 times. That's the end. So if it goes, so the whole reason why it says I is less than 600, because what this does is after it runs through the code, it adds 1. Okay, so now what I++ does is every time. Okay. So every time. Is anyone even here? Yeah, 4 viewers. Hello, 4 viewers. So every time it loops something, it'll add 1. So if I move forward once, it'll do I is equal to 1. And it'll change it every time. So that means, so now if I go to I is equal to 600, alright? If I is equal to 600, and we know that I can't be greater than 600. It has to be less than 600. So what I'll do is, what this does is this code, like it, before anything. Okay, so before anything starts, it adds 1 to the timer. So this is the timer. This is, like I said, it adds 1 here. So now it's gonna do I equals 1 or 2, all the way to 600. All right, 599. Let's start. Okay. So when it goes to 599, I has to be less than 600, right? It sees that it's less than 600, and it runs the code again. So once it runs the code, it adds 1. So then this number, this I number, changes to 600. And I can't be less than 600. Sorry, I, which is 600, can't be less than 600. 600 can't be less than 600 unless it's less than or equal to 600. All right. So because of that, when it sees this, it knows to automatically stop what it's doing and move on. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's go here. Okay. Algorithm we did. It's a precise sequence of instructions. Iterate to repeat in order to achieve something. Section, a generic term for type of programming statement. Using an if statement, and it uses a Boolean condition to determine. I forgot what a Boolean was. I learned this a long time ago. Let's do that. And okay, so Boolean is a system of algebraic notation. Yeah, so basically I and all that stuff. Condition to determine selector whether or not to run a certain block of statements. Putting sequencing is putting commands in the correct order. Like if you want to create a sequence of events, you're going to want to put these events in the right order. Pair programming is a method of programming in which two programmers write code using a single computer. Yeah, one programmer, the driver role, uses the mouse and keyboard to actively write the code, while a second acts as a navigator, keeping track of the big picture. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Honestly, reading through all of these, you'll probably get a great understanding of what every single one of these words mean, because they all have a thorough explanation from code.org. All right. I'm not going to go through them all just because I really I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. I wasn't supposed to be studying for this. So, yeah. No, I'm joking. I'm still studying for this. It's stupid, but whatever. Yeah, so I'm just going to end it there, and that should be everything, right? Yeah, that should be fine. Bye.